Hello, Earthlings. Sound Vision is back again. By the time you've seen this, I've already completed 2 weeks of classes. But I'm walking down Boylston, and coming the opposite direction are hundreds of sensible people protesting the Arab ban. They call it a Muslim ban, but it's really an Arab ban. And if you recognize any of those backs, give them a cookie or something, hug them, congratulate them on being sensible. I'm going to try to put more attention on sharing music than vlogs over these next few months, because that's really what I do. I'm a musician, not a vlogger. Alright, it's about 6 o'clock this year. I don't know if I mentioned it in that last clip, but I'm gonna be focusing more on sharing music than vlogging over these next 4 months, because I'm gonna stop vlogging after 4 months, and I may use the name Sound Vision later for something else, but not a vlog. I'm currently headed to my first real project of the semester, which is for a course that's officially called Special Topics in Songwriting, but we call it Last Week Tonight with Ben Camp, because we're going to be watching Last Week Tonight with John Oliver a lot, and Ben Camp is the professor. Basically, we split into groups, and our assignment is, well, one of them, to co-write a song for next week. So I'm headed to one of their apartments to do that. Alright, it's Monday now, and I'm heading to my only real class of the day, apart from the two that I'm accompanying. There's a vocal ensemble and the rhythm and groove thing with Joey Blake, like I did last semester. But the class I'm headed to is Harmony and Brazilian Song. We're basically going to be looking at samba in the first third, and then bossa nova in the second third, and then MPB in the last third. It just stands for Música Popular Brasileira. It's just Brazilian pop music after the whole bossa thing. Alright, it's Tuesday now, and it's starting to snow. Our first snow of the semester, our first of many. I'm headed to my ensemble, which is the music of Lilith Fair, led by Ken Zambello, the same guy I had analysis of prog rock with. Obviously a very different type of thing. I think we're going to do a Sheryl Crow song today. The only Sheryl Crow song I know is Soak Up the Sun, and it's not that one. And then I've got Poetry 1 after that with another big Berklee name, Pat Pattison. I don't know if you saw my breath, but anyway, it's a lot later now, as you can tell from the color of the sky. Poetry 1 just got out. Well, after that I just had dinner, so I technically just got out of the calf, but Poetry 1 was before that, and welcome to Boston, the land of horns. Alright, I'm on a slightly less noisy street now, with slightly more snow on the sidewalk, but anyway, in Poetry 1, we only had an hour, so we basically took the entire class to analyze one poem. It happened to be mine. I don't know if that's because I was the first to submit or whatever. We've been learning the different kinds of endings for a line, sort of using chord functions, because, we're a music school, and Pat's a songwriter, so basically a tonic is stable, a subdominant doesn't lead to anywhere, and a dominant leads to somewhere. And at this point, we were only using tonics and subdominants for our lines, and we couldn't use a dominant. That is to say, we couldn't end a line in the middle of a phrase, and they all had to be 10-syllable lines, because apparently 2/3 of English poetry, just by some miracle of how the language is constructed, has 10 syllables a line, just because it's in English. I did notice my poem was the only one that ended in the middle of a sentence, so what we've been calling a subdominant. My God, I'm turning into Pat. Basically, the crux of what I had written is something we had found out in class on Thursday, or something Pat had said, which is that basically the greatest artists don't suffer for their art because they don't have time, so it's their friends and families who suffer. Uplifting, I know. As it happens, the Sheryl Crow song we looked at in ensemble today was strong enough, and next week we're going to try to tackle Get Him Back by Fiona Apple. The piano part may be a bitch to learn, but it's also going to be fun because it kind of sounds like something I'd play. Alright, it's Wednesday now, and as you can see, the snow is all beautiful in winter wonderland and shoveled looking. I'm on my way to my first, my only accompanying gig of today, which is for an Elements of Vocal Technique class. I don't think it's for non-voice principals or non-singers, as the real world calls them, because I've got 2 classes in a row tomorrow for non-singers that I'm accompanying, but I think this one is for actual singers. Should be good, I guess. Okay, it's a lot later now. Special topics in songwriting, or I'm just gonna call it Ben's class from now on, just got out. We had Zed Tabani there as a guest speaker. He's pretty much the king of hip-hop in the Berklee world. We listened to and discussed his song Alternative Facts, which is a great listen, and a great song. And then for the second half of the class, we played the songs we had co-written, in some cases, like mine, with complete strangers. I mean, we weren't strangers by the time we finished the co-write, and I mean, all of our songs were very much first drafts, and ours, on second thought, I was going to say the most embryonic, but I'm not sure. The first one we heard was pretty complete, but the others definitely lacked quite a few sections, and they were all quite different. But I remember one thing Ben pointed out is how the music set the tone for what we were talking about. We were talking about the immigration ban that happened and is piece by piece, I believe, starting to fall, but we're still picking away bit by bit at it. We had the music set up the story, or the music ended up setting the story before the lyrics came in. Probably a result of the fact that as a jazz comp major, I gravitate more towards music than lyrics. Caroline and Russell, I think especially Caroline, the 2 guys I am writing the song with, I think together they came up with the idea of, I think Caroline suggested incorporating This Land Is Your Land, and Russell suggested some creepy chromatic line, so I basically came up with a creepy reharmonization of This Land Is Your Land for the intro. I don't really turn up to co-writes with the intention of writing any lyrics, although I usually inevitably end up contributing a word or two. The only time I ever showed up to a co-write and didn't end up contributing any lyrics was because the song was we'd basically finished the song together separately, if that makes any sense. It was basically just a rehearsal. Alright, it's Thursday now, and I have the same two classes today as I do on Tuesday, Modernism and the Arts, and then Poetry 1. Modernism is kinda unusual in that we'll be using Twitter a lot, so I've had to make a Twitter account at Neutron-sound Creative. I know. I haven't actually tweeted or followed anyone yet. I mean, I'm gonna have to tweet for the class, but I'll probably eventually get the hang of it. Alright, it's Friday now, and I just got out of Psychology of Music for the second time this week again. That sentence was too long. But, I have just been reading about the Bowling Green Massacre. If you don't know what it is, it's a thing Kellyanne Conway basically made up to justify whatever. And I was thinking, I've been thinking about what I want to call my backing band when I finally have a full-time backing band after I graduate. And I've been thinking about names, and I was either thinking of Neutron-sound and the Silences of Sound, or Neutron-sound and the cool band name, but I kind of like this. I kind of also like the sound of Neutron-sound and the Bowling Green Massacre, because I don't know, it kind of sounds like Brian Jonestown Massacre. Not that I know any of their music, but yeah. Alright, it's a lot later now. I just got out of the professional development seminar. We looked up each other's internet presence in the seminar today, and one thing I discovered is that there's some sort of energy accumulator for a modular synth that has the brand name Neutron-sound, which would explain why I couldn't use the domain neutronsound.com as my website. It had to be neutronsoundmusic.com, and as you can see, I've also changed my Facebook profile. If you link to this from Facebook, I've changed my Facebook page name to Neutron Sound Music, because the Neutron Sound Accumulator is just Neutron Sound. I've added music to mine, although I may change it to my band name. I still like the sound of the name Bowling Green Massacre. I mean, even though it's a non-existent thing created by a dangerous man's minion, it just sounds like it has to be a real thing. So, I don't really have much more to say. I will be recording something over the weekend. I'll be figuring out what it is on Saturday and starting recording it then, and then finishing recording it on Sunday, and then posting it on Tuesday. And I'm going to try to focus more on posting music on Tuesday than these vlogs. Although I'm still going to make them through May, just because what little feedback I've gotten is positive. So, until next time, I've been Neutron-sound from Neutron-sound and the Bowling Green Massacre. Go forth and be awesome.